What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome along to episode number 9 of the F1 Ultimate Career Series for the Monaco Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the last episode, make sure to go check that one out before you see this one to get yourself caught up. And make sure, of course, to get subscribed for more future F1 content as the series continues. So, moving into the next round of the season, the Monaco Grand Prix, perhaps a race that I've been bricking the last few days or so since recording Spain. But first, we have got some resource points to spend. We'll put them into a powertrain upgrade, a major powertrain upgrade that will give us some good progress as we continue our push towards fighting Renault and McLaren R&D wise. Of course, a big push to that top 4. So I doubt we'll come near those guys over the course of the season. But of course, power unit components also needs to be changed. The MG UK almost went kaput in Spain. And of course, the control electronics box is also close. But I think I'm going to give it one more race and see if it holds out in Monaco. And of course, there's a look at the Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen leads Bottas by 7 points in the minute after victory last time out. And of course, the rivalry of Esteban Ocon, we are currently losing that in the minute. 10-9, so we've got some work to do today to try and get ourselves back in front of him and tip the rivalry in our favour once again going towards the next few Grand Prix. So advanced time now, moving on now towards the actual race weekend itself, and of course our upgrades starting to come through. Of course, one of them unfortunately did fail over on the durability side, so let's go back and try and fix that with the weekly resource points that we get. Have we got enough though? I only got 319, that could be a potential concern. I'm not sure how much you actually need to get that sorted prior to the next Grand Prix. We need 350 points, we're about 31 short, so not fantastic there. So I have to go without the MG UK upgrade. But for now though, all the talking is done, all the prep is complete, and it's time now for us to head to Monaco for the race weekend. Time for the Monaco Grand Prix. Welcome then to the Principality of Monaco. It is time for qualifying and perhaps the race on the calendar I've been bricking the most since coming back to F1 2020. These cars considerably different to what I've been used to for the last 3 seasons of F1 games, so we could be in for a nightmare here. We'll get a real sense in terms of pace where we stack up as we emerge behind one of the Renault cars. I believe that's Daniel Ricciardo coming out the pit lane first. We're going to join him, second car onto the racetrack and going out for our first flying lap. Honestly, qualifying, as we all know, is crucial in Monaco, but I don't see us getting a massive result out of this session. If we can bang ourselves sort of top 15 where we're normally used to, though, I'll be perfectly fine with that. But of course, qualifying was slightly poorer in Spain last time out, so that could be a sort of turn in the tide for us going into the next few races. But on to our first flying lap here, going up the hill, through up towards turn 2, and then turn 3, a long sweeping left-hander going towards the casino. And of course, turn 3, then immediately met with turn 4, that very sharp right-hander going towards the end of the first split. We'll see what sub time we get out with. 19.026, not a fantastic start by any means. But as we make our way through, Raskas now turns 18 and 19 on the circuit and closing off that last corner towards the line to complete our first flying lap. Ricciardo goes 11.5. What are we going to go for? We're looking at a 13.6. Not at all a fantastic effort, and not where we want to be to kick off our first run. On to a second lap, a bit of a slide out of turn 1, so let's try and make that time back up. We are losing tenths quickly as we go into turn 3. We're about a quarter of a second down going through 3 and now towards 4 once again, keeping it nice and steady, but losing control on the exit and slamming into the inside wall, and there goes our front wing, so I have to go back to the pit lane then, and that brings about the end of our first run. It will accelerate time here, slowest on the board so far. Right now at 19th is Leclerc. The home hero hasn't set a lap time yet, but we'll go out for our second run on our second set of soft tyres, and we'll see where that gets us. As we see a lot more improvement this time around, but almost a second up on our previous effort. But a big mistake through turn 18 there means we lose about 2 or 3 tenths as a result, and that could cost us a place or two as we come charging through towards the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 12 this time around, 1 minute 12.8. There's only enough for P17 though, so that puts us in front of both Williams cars, and of course Leclerc's yet to set a time, and once again banging the outside wall, so wing damage. So let's change on to our third set and go for one more run. We don't normally use the softs going into a Grand Prix, so I'm not too concerned about using that third set, but still P17 in a minute. Leclerc yet to set a time. He's going late on in this session, so I'm not quite sure what the plan is for the Monegasque, but I believe he's out on the circuit now with 1 minute and 40 left to go. Of course, we'll focus on our own efforts here on our third lap and what could be our last lap of the session. I doubt we'll go for a fourth one here. Over the curbs a bit at turn 11, normally careful on that, but corner cutting is on regular. I think for a circuit like Monaco, it's a good thing. Through 13 and 14, comes in very quickly, losing a fair bit of control, and over the curbs again. We're so lucky not to have invalidated any of that. Honestly, that would not slide in real life, and we all know it. Going through the last few corners and towards turn 19, we're getting a few tenths as a result, up 6 tenths, going towards the corner, 5.5 on the way out, and charging towards the line to be a 1 minute 12.3. Gets up to P14, which is about where we expect to normally be. But as we come towards the line here to complete qualifying, the checker flag has now fallen. We'll see where we fall to on the grid if we lose any places at all. Going into the last part and seeing our position for the race. 19th! You're kidding me. We lost 5 places in that.
Qualifying finished. It's time to remind ourselves of our top 3. Verstappen, Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Verstappen on pole, then Hamilton takes second, and Vettel third. Leclerc got to fourth in the end, so he did set a lap time at P19 for us, and that is quite a pill to swallow. Only out qualifying Latifi, and we've now got it all to do if we want to have any chance of scoring points over the course of this Grand Prix.
Formula One returns to Monte Carlo once again today, home to the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino, first opened in 1863. And, of course, a certain road race, first held here in 1929. There's no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars climb around 40 metres up through Beau Rivage, onto the casino, and then descending down towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of the 19 corners here, 7 to the left and 11 to the right. There's one single DRS zone as well, so don't expect that to make overtaking any easier today. And what would any Grand Prix weekend be without the one and only Anthony Davidson, alongside me as always, to talk you through the action?
Well, to start with, I have to feel bad for Carlos Sainz. He gave it everything he had in qualifying, but he just couldn't get the performance he needed, and he's starting well behind where he should be. Besides that, of course, any kind of Turn 1 incident could completely turn the race on its head. Let's keep our fingers crossed everyone can get through in one piece.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Valtteri Bottas, and Albon, Perez, Stroll, Magnussen, and Daniel Ricciardo. Sainz, Gasly, Romain Grosjean, and Ocon, Giovinazzi, Russell, Cohen, and Lando Norris. They've taken a grid penalty. Latifi and Kimi Raikkonen finishes off the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
So here we go then, time for the race itself here in Monaco from P17 on the grid, once again taking advantage of some grid penalties around us. In terms of strategy, initially I was going to go with the one stop as we've been doing, of course it often does work around Monaco, but then I went back a second. I was tempted by the look of that 2-stop, which is actually 3 seconds faster according to the projected times. So do you know what, we'll go with something different today. We'll take the 2-stop, 2 sets of mediums, 1 late set of softs to go full balls to the wall towards the checker flag. Here we go now. 5 red lights for the 6th race of the season, the Monaco Grand Prix, the jewel of the calendar, the one that everyone wants to win. It is lights out, foot to the floor, and we are underway. Going down towards turn 1, short run to that first corner. Russell with a good start in front, Giovinazzi and Grosjean just ahead. Going to try and go around the outside into that first corner. Russell and Giovinazzi side by side, no way to break in there. Norris and Latifi fighting behind us. Norris takes the place on that occasion. He's on soft tyres, be careful of him in the opening couple of laps here. Giovinazzi and Russell still side by side. We can't find a way in. It looks like the Italians got the edge over our compatriot in the Williams. Going to try and go around the outside at turn 4. And going towards turn 5, a bit of traffic jam into this right-hander, and Russell won't give up the place. He's still there on our inside lane. Going to try and get around him on the exit, try and clear him and move towards Giovinazzi, going towards the casino hairpin, turn 6, on the inside of the Italian. Not the wisest of things to be doing, given how big these cars are. But on corner exit, we keep it alongside, but Grosjean, as a result, pulling away by a big advance, about almost 2 seconds. We clear Giovinazzi, so it's worth it for a place. But as we go over the curb there at turn 8, overall, it's been the right start. We've made it some places, but in turn we've lost a lot of time to Grosjean West for the lap or 2, making that back up. Giovinazzi's not done yet though. He's trying to make a move to the outside, going towards turn 10. No chance. There's no room for there to even think about Antonio. Stay in line for the minute. Stay in P16. Will maintain P15. So on to lap 2 then, and pushing once again back towards the tunnel. Grosjean our next target on those hard tyres, considerably slower, and as a result Ocon our rival pulling away in the Renault. So we're down towards turn 10 once again. We won't go for a move on Grosjean, nowhere near close to even consider a move on the Haas. He goes up in smoke, and all of a sudden that's a big shock right in front of us there. We've never seen it happen directly in front, but Grosjean's pulling over, and that's his race over, a lap and a half into this thing. Unfortunate for the Frenchman, who sees his Haas go up in a cloud of smoke, and chances of any big score for Haas today in the Monaco Grand Prix all of a sudden look one half less as Magnussen, the only Haas remaining in this race. What happened to Roman Grosjean there going towards turn 10? The car goes up in smoke by itself. We've seen cars pull over and call it a day early on, but we yet to see him really go up in smoke as of so far in this series. It's mainly just been internal failures, no real problem that has generated smoke or caused any real chaos like this. You see one of the Williams cars, I think that's Latifi, who had to take a bit of a wider line going through turn 12 as a result of Grosjean being on the preferred racing line, because there's not enough room to move over at a circuit such as this. But Grosjean pulls it over, parks the car in between turns 15 and 16. Game over for the Frenchman. We'll see him go past and make our way through on lap 3. Esteban Ocon now our next target, and our teammate Pierre Gasly not too far in front either. That little train push continuing on, leading up towards the points potentially. So we'll look towards the top 10 places in the opening encounters of this Monaco Grand Prix. Of course, our first pit stop isn't until lap 16, so plenty of time until our first stop. Ocon, our next target here on lap number 5 of this race, and going towards the hairpin once again, closing in. I think it's wise to go for a move this time on the inside. We'll try the outside if we can, get a good enough run. Try it on the higher lane against Ocon, slight bit of contact, but nothing substantial to give us any damage. And through turns 7 and 8, we'll try and clear our rival on the corner exit of 8 and back towards the tunnel. That is the place secure for us. P13 in our possession. Gasly and Ricciardo now our next 2 targets, and Giovinazzi left to pressurize Ocon for the time being as we push further on now towards lap 7. Gasly now right in front of us, our main target, and of course trying to beat our teammate, the number 1 opponent you're meant to beat in Formula 1. And there's that train in front, as I said, consisting of Sainz and then Kevin Magnussen. But I think Magnussen is holding everyone up right now, but it's good play for Haas. With 1 car out, they need points. Gasly hits the inside barrier there at turn 19, and we take full advantage of that, go dancing through into P12. There's a near switchback. I don't think I could have pulled that off again if I tried 100 times. What's happened? Let's have a look back again. Has Gasly got damage? We'll see if we can find out via this angle. So around the outside of Raskas, as we've done in the past on most F1 games, obviously a decent tactic to pass the AI around Monaco. Gasly hits that inside barrier, goes off into the other one on corner exit, and we take full advantage and just go sliding through. So that's a place for us over our teammate into P12 now, onto lap 8 of this Grand Prix. There is the train in full. Ricciardo, then Sainz and Magnussen. And Magnussen is currently doing what Grosjean did a while ago in Australia, holding everyone up and keeping them all bunched together, and it allows us to close back in. So once again, the Haas cars being team players for us at AlphaTauri. As we push on to lap 9, a lap later, Sainz has had enough. He's going for a move here. He was stuck behind Grosjean last time as well, so he's got a habit of trying to get around these Haas cars when they hold him up, and as a result, he's pulling away. Magnussen now keeping Ricciardo and myself at bay, but around the outside of the Aussie, look how much Sainz has pulled away as he comes off turn 19. Look at that, look how far in front he was. Tried it on Ricciardo, couldn't quite get past, so the tactic doesn't work every time. You need quite a good run through turn 18. On to lap 11 though, and nearing that first pit stop. Ricciardo still right in front of us, and Magnussen still keeping us both at bay here. Can we make a move to the inside going towards turn 5, down the inside of the Honey Badger in the Renault, and on corner exit? Can we clear him? Yes we can. That's P11 now for us, and the soft tyre Magnussen now still holds on to P10, but now has us right on his tail. So let's try and make a move on him and keep him holding us up too much to try and get away from this pack. Ricciardo, Gasly, Ocon behind us. Those are the cars we're trying to beat today. Of course, Renault, crucial players in our fight, the constructors, and Gasly, of course, our teammate. We'd like to try and score some points over him to try and close that advantage as well. Magnussen coming into the pits here, and then end of lap 11 for his first stint draws to a close. I assume we're probably going hard tyres to the end of the race from here. I can't imagine him going to the mediums, at least going for another stop. Ricciardo right behind us, so as we begin lap number 12, and a few more cars into the pit lane puts us into P9. So Ricciardo is still our main threat. There's Gasly, and then Ocon in the train behind. Giovinazzi getting involved too. There goes Ricciardo up the hill through turn 2 and towards 3. He's on the inside of us going into the corner. We've got the outside going round towards 4. Can we jump in front? We maintain our position, and that is still P9 for now, but don't count out Ricciardo just yet. He's proven trying to make dicey moves when it counts, trying to take places away. He didn't quite do it this time. We'll keep an eye out over the remainder of our stint. But he presses further on now, onto lap 13. There goes Albon and Leclerc emerging from the pit lane. Albon's going to emerge right behind us. Can he sandwich between myself and Ricciardo? He can do. So the Red Bull slots into P8 behind. We're up to P7 now. Leclerc in P6. And up front is Verstappen, who leads the way. Onto lap number 14. Albon making his move now in the same way Ricciardo did. This time he's on the outside going towards the corner. Gets clear of us. And we've got to tip our hats to Alexander Albon for making a move like that. Very gutsy indeed. So that's P7 for him. Of course, we're not his race in a minute. He's not our race. So we'll focus on keeping Ricciardo at bay behind. And Gasly about a second back from us in a minute. So he's fallen away a fair bit towards the end of his first stint. But on to end of lap number 16 now. And coming in for our first pit stop of this race onto the medium tyres. And it's at this point where the strategy is completely locked in. We start on the mediums. And now we've got to go on a set of softs or a set of hards to get to the end of the race. So we've got to do this 2-stop now. We can't do anything else. So medium tyres going on The aim for the second stint here will be purely just to try and gain as much of an advantage as we can over those cars we were chasing, so that when we have to go into the softs later on, I imagine lose a fair chunk of time, because that will see any 2 stops for anyone else in this race. I have to spend use that time trying to close up to everyone else around us. Of course, the soft tyres will be crucial for that last little charge, but the aim of these mediums, as I say, just gain as much time as we can, gain as much of an advantage so we don't lose as much time going towards that last stint on the soft. So on to lap 17 then, and back on the racetrack and catching this train at the back on lap 19, 2 laps later. Norris, then Magnussen, because Magnussen is our race, so we'll keep an eye on him. And in front of him at the minute is Lance Stroll and Kimi Raikkonen around the outside of Norris here, going through turn 18 on the corner exit. There goes Raikkonen off into the pit lane. He is not our concern for the minute. I think Lance Stroll is now leading this train, and Magnussen just in front of him. So we're now third in this 4-car train. There goes Ricciardo. I was very concerned for a second being stuck behind that train that we wouldn't beat him out, but we've narrowly managed to get in front of him, and then Norris will jump in front of him as well. So Norris, I think, is still looking at points pay and finish perhaps today if he plays his cards right. But on to lap number 22, a fair few laps later, getting frustrated here, being stuck behind Kevin Magnussen and looking for some kind of move. You see us diving from side to side, a la Mansell and Senna back in 1992, and still looking at the outside of Magnussen towards turn 4. Can't quite do it. Stay in line behind the Dane in the Haas. Of course, he's got all the Haas behind him now, thanks to Grosjean being out of the race. He's the team's only hope of scoring some points in today's race. Yellow light coming on our MFD. We are quite low on fuel here, so we'll move down into lean mix. We went into rich to try and close on that train initially, but of course we are up there now, so we can try and save some fuel back. Around the outside of Magnussen at turn number 18, can't quite pull in front. Ronner is outside, going towards the corner. I think he clipped that outside barrier too. We pull us side by side, going towards turn 1 down the main straight. Bit of contact there, getting a bit too close for comfort with the left side pod of that Haas. And around the outside of the first corner, can we get in front? Slight tap of the front wheels. We are now ahead of Magnussen. No warning for contact, fortunately, aside from that one. We banged this side pod down the main straight, but all okay. We can handle a warning, and we'll pull away. We'll try and pull away now. So now we've got a clear road in front of us. Onto lap 31, quite a few laps later, nearing the last few stages of this Grand Prix. And onto lap 32 now. We've gained 3 or 4 seconds on Magnussen. It's been around that for the last 3 or 4 laps. And as a result, we try and get as much time as we could on these medium tyres. I think getting held up behind in the pit in the second stint may have cost us a fair bit. We'll have to find out if we can really have what it takes on these soft tyres. But crucially, remember, these will be the soft tyres. One of the sets we used during qualifying. We used all 3 sets. I think one of those could have been reserved for the race, but we didn't do that. So this strategy may come back to bite us. So we've got a little bit of wear on our tyres, but I'm sure it's nothing we can't handle. 2.6 second stop. We are away now and back on the racetrack. On to lap 33. 7 laps to go. Emerging behind Esteban Ocon. We get a warning for crossing the pit and exit white line. Just slid across the track, going back through to that first corner. Got Ocon now is our first target. So if we can get in front of him and then go and finish in the points, that'd be extra points for our rivalry battle. But of course, we can just finish in front of him, then that'll do us just fine as well, trying to get us alongside him and looking around for an opening, going towards 18, wants to get around the outside, as we've done several times already today. George Russell, the car in front, he'll be our next target. If we can beat Ocon here, around the outside, very, very close for comfort on the curb, on the corner exit. We jumped a place and we are now up into P15, onto lap 34, still being held behind Russell a lap later. We should make a move on him, similar to the switchback we did on Gasly earlier on this race. It wasn't quite as clean. We tapped into the back of him, no warning though. We get away with it on these soft tyres. Compared to the hard tyre cars, we are pulling away, but I wonder, we've been held for a bit too long there across the second and third stints. Is it enough? On to lap 37 now. Blue flags being displayed, and it's at this point I've realised a very crucial detail in this race. In our second stop, Max Verstappen has such an advantage. He's actually lapped us at this point in the Grand Prix. He's in fact closing on Pierre Gasly. He's the car chasing the dark blue icon on MFD. So on to the end of lap number 37, we're still getting blue flags, and Sainz goes out of the race. Yellow flag up at turn 5. What's happened to the McLaren? Of course, we last saw when we cleared Magnussen earlier on this race. Carlos Sainz dealing with some kind of problem and going out of this race, and he was up in the points too, so that'll give us point to whoever was in 11th place. Not sure who it is in a minute, but we'll find out, of course, when we reach the final results later on in a few minutes or so. Sainz, though, game over for the Spaniard and the McLaren. I think Norris may still get a point or 2 for them at this stage, but of course it could have been double points for the team. Not to be though, and a gutting thing to retire with just a few laps left at Monaco. Carlos Sainz calls it quits, pulls the car over at the run off at turn 5. On to lap 38, which is of course the final lap for us. Max Verstappen at front is absolutely dominated this Grand Prix. He's going through to take his 3rd victory straight of this season. He won in Zandvoort, he won last time out in Barcelona. As he comes towards turn 18 now, he's cleared Gasly, so Gasly a lap down as he comes towards the last corner of the circuit. Max Verstappen, for the first time in his F1 career, to go to victory, goes to the top step of the podium at the Principality. Verstappen takes the flag and wins in Monaco, crossing the line just in front of Gasly and narrowly behind Ricciardo, close between those two. But in terms of our race then, with gamble did not pay off, the 2-stop did not work, and we'll run to the line to finish P13 in this race. Overall though, I'm not too gutted. We went for something different today, it didn't pay off, so you learn that sort of thing in Formula 1. Honestly, I felt we should have scored in this race and not Spain, pace-wise. But overall, do you know what? First race in Monaco, we survived it. No real dramas. I'm happy with that. And we just escaped Monaco and move on to the next race.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
Well, they say qualifying is key in Monaco. Max Verstappen just proved it, coming through to take a dominant victory ahead of Hamilton and Vettel rounding out the podium. Let's now have a look at the results and the current standings in the championship.
So, let's review the driver's standings. Today's performance means Max Verstappen now owns the top spot in the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
It's got to be Lando Norris, hasn't it? Smooth, confident and assured. I've got no doubt that he and his team are going to be over the moon with his performance today.
Let's move on to the Constructors. Our championship leaders retain their position, but their lead is shrinking. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
We'll go through the rest of the top 10 then. Bottas comes home 4th, then Leclerc 5th, Albon 6th, Perez 7th, Stroll on 8th, Magnussen came up to 9th, fantastic day for the Haas team, and McLaren's Lando Norris nabs the last point on offer in favour of Sainz, of course, who went out the late stages. That puts us down to P13, the Drivers' Championship. Verstappen increased his lead by 21 to Bottas. Hamilton in 3rd place, that retirement in Spain, putting him 45 back. Mercedes still leading Red Bull, but only by 2 points now. It's getting closer and closer, and we fall down to 7th place in the championship against Renault and McLaren, but only 3 points in it between all three teams. There's every chance we can emerge from the next race in P5 in the championship. But guys, that'll do it for this episode of the F1 Ultimate Career Series. I do hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to get subscribed for more future F1 content. Until my next video, you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.